Today we're going to be talking about meal planning and prepping and what that looks like. So for some of you, this is your first week of prep week, getting ready for your first challenge, which is awesome. I'm so excited for everyone. But this is probably, I would say, the most important part of this entire process is meal planning and prepping. So I wanted to talk to you guys, make sure you have time to watch this video because there's lots of important information in here that you're going to need to know. So the first thing is to make sure that you have a program picked out. So some of you have already commented saying what program you're choosing, whether it's 21 Day Fix, 80 Day Obsession, Insanity, whichever program you're deciding on. Make sure you have that picked first because you can't meal plan or prep without knowing what program you're in. So once you've decided on your program, you're going to want to log into Beachbody On Demand, which some of you have already. You've been playing around with it. And at the top, once you choose your program, so click on like 21 Day Fix if that's the one you're doing, you're going to click on Program Materials, and it's up at the top in when you're inside your program. And under Program Materials, you're going to get everything you need for that program. So you're going to get a calendar, an approved foods list, an eating plan that you can follow. So you're going to want to have all that stuff handy. I like to print everything. Just makes it easier for me. I like to have hard copies of things. So I have my stuff still from 21 Day Fix that I still have printed. I've kept it in case I ever go back to it. So like I printed the program, printed the first one in color, and then I stopped doing color and I started doing black and white. Here's another version of the program, and it tells you like every single day what workout you're going to be doing in the program. So like day one was total body cardio fix. So that was what I did on day one. So what I've started doing now is I cross off that workout when I've completed it. So you're going to need your workout program. If you want to just leave it open on your computer, I also did that too, just so I could check like, hey, I'm on day 7. Let me pull up on my computer what day 7 workout is. You will need that to follow. Also the approved foods list. Let's see, I have that somewhere. Oh, right here. This is from the 21 Day Fix one. So right here, and this has all of your containers, which I'll talk about in just a second. And these are all of the approved foods that you can have during 21 Day Fix. So I'll talk a little bit about this in a minute, but I would have this handy. This is from like my day one. I've printed this and I've just used this ever since. I printed it in black and white, and then I just added some color. I highlighted in the color of the container the foods that I like and the ones that I prefer to eat. Now, since I started, I've expanded and I've added a few more things that I haven't gone back and highlighted yet, but that way I could see and easily go to like, hey, I'm meal planning for next week. Well, I like tilapia, that's on here, so I'm gonna put tilapia on my meal plan, where I didn't highlight goat or squab because I don't usually eat that stuff. So I just went through and highlighted all the foods that I like to eat and that I'd be interested in trying. You need to make sure that you are following your calendar and your meal plan to a T. So the foods list, approved foods list, and your workout program, these are designed as a science, and they were put together in a specific way to help you get results. So if you follow your meal plan, you follow the workout program, you're gonna get results. It's as easy as that. So once you've chosen your program and you've gone to Program Materials, you're going to need to find your calorie bracket. So for example, for 21 Day Fix, this was mine for my first, I think this was my first round of 21 Day Fix. I was in Plan A, so this was my calorie bracket. And this is in black and white. But so for my green containers, I was able to have 3 of them. For my fruits, I was able to have 2. For my carbs, 2, for my proteins, 4. And so it's just personalized based on where you are in your journey. And up at the top, it tells you how to do those calculations. You're going to get your total amount of calories, and then you're going to find which bracket that puts you in. That is very important. You have to do that first before you can even start meal planning. So make sure you go to your program and you put in your calculations, figure that out to figure out which one you're in. It is different for every program. So every time you start a new program, you have to go back and recalculate to see what you're in, because maybe you lost weight, maybe you gained some muscle weight. That's going to change, and the programs are different. Maybe one of them burns more calories than another. So you're going to have to figure out your calorie bracket for every program you try. So make sure you get that done this week, so that way Sunday you're not like, oh, what bracket am I in? What program am I doing? Make sure you're getting that done this week as soon as possible, since this is our prep week. So your containers, if you guys have gotten yours in yet, you've probably looked at them and were like, oh my gosh, I'm eating nothing. But if you did take the time to go through your calorie bracket already, you're gonna see that you're actually getting to eat a lot more than you think, because these containers look very small, and you're probably thinking, just like me, how am I gonna survive on this? You'd actually be surprised at how much can fit in here. So when I'm like meal prepping, or like at dinner when I'm getting my serving of veggies and I'm packing it in here, you can fill it all the way to the top. You have to make sure that the lid can close on any of the containers. Don't have it heaping, spilling over the top, but make sure that it can fit inside and that you can close the lid. And I always like to fill it and then dump it on my plate to see how much actually comes out, and you'd be surprised, it's a lot. I don't want you to be like me when I first started and hoard the containers. So my first couple days of this program, when I started 21 Day Fix, I had my Shakeology for breakfast, which is gonna be my red container. So I had my Shakeology for breakfast. I didn't put anything in it because I was afraid to use my containers. I saved all my carbs for dinner, which is my yellow container. And by the time I got to dinner, one, I was starving because I didn't eat what I needed to eat all day. And two, I had a ton of food to eat at dinner time. Like, my plate was overflowing with food. So make sure you don't save it, don't hoard it, you're gonna be fine. There's plenty of food that you get to have. So let me go through the containers really quick. So your green container is your veggies. And like, for example, for me, I get 3 veggies a day. So I get to have 3 of these containers filled a day with veggies. One way, I know some people have trouble getting in 3 veggies a day. One option is to put a handful of spinach into your Shakeology whenever you're having that. That's automatically one way that you've gotten one green container out of the way. So I've put it in there before when I know like I'm really busy and I'm not gonna have a lot of time to get my veggies in for the day. I will just take a handful of spinach and throw it in my Shakeology. Trust me, you cannot taste the spinach at all. You can't even taste it one bit. It might change the coloring of your Shakeology a little bit to make it a little tinted green, but you cannot taste it at all. So that's your veggies. So figure out how many of those you need. The next one is your purple container. This is your fruit. So when you're going through, the reason this list is so important is because not everything fits inside of a container. So for example, for your purple container for a fruit, half of a banana counts as a purple serving, so a fruit serving, but it's only half of a banana. And that's because, one, a whole banana doesn't fit in here, but two, there's a lot of sugars and carbs in a banana, where things like berries don't have as many sugars or as many carbs as a banana does. So they've limited it, and they've put all of that information on here. So when you go through your foods list, you'll see like berries, blueberries, blackberries, strawberries, those are all at the top. Those you can fill all the way to the top in this container. So you can actually eat a lot of berries. And then if you go down to banana, right next to it says half of a large banana. So you can only have half of a banana in place of one of your purple containers. So make sure you have this printed, because it's not always what can fit inside the container. Sometimes it's a half a banana. Then we have your red, which is your protein. I can have 4 protein a day. Your Shakeology counts as 1 protein. So one of these is your Shakeology. And again, you don't fill this up. You don't have to measure that out. You just, if you have the packets, you just pour a packet in, or if you have the bag, you just scoop 1 scoop. And that is 1 serving of your protein for the day. Again, that, a chicken breast isn't gonna fit inside this container, but one, average size chicken breast is gonna fit in here. I wanna say that I usually do about 4 ounces of meat is like 1 serving of protein. So I usually measure my chicken when I'm cutting it up on the weekends. I slice it all up, put them in individual packages, put them into the freezer. That way they're already sized and portioned, so I can have 1 chicken breast. Next is your yellow container. That is your carb container. This is my favorite container. 100% hands down favorite container. I love my carbs. So carbs is one that isn't always going to fit inside this container. So for example, some of them, like a tortilla isn't going to fit inside this container, but you can have one like whole wheat or corn tortilla in place of for one of your carbs for the day. Also, what else was there? Oh, like a pita bread isn't going to fit in here, or a waffle isn't going to fit inside this tiny container, but it is in place of one of them. So that's why it's so important to have that foods list. Then your blue container, this is my second favorite container. This is like your cheeses, almonds, some type of nuts, like if you add Parmesan cheese to a meal, that's what this blue container is for. And I get one of these a day, so I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this container. But I usually will split it in half, so I'll do like half cheese on my dinner, and then half on my lunch. So either like half hummus for like a snack with some carrots, or and then half cheese like on my dinner. And then, or you can do like half cheese at dinner and then half cheese at lunch. For me, it has been really hard to get cheese like out of my meal plan. It is in almost every single one of my meals, so I'm really having to be careful with how much cheese I have. I try not to eyeball it, because when I just eyeball and I'm sprinkling cheese on, I tend to put more because I love cheese. It's one of my favorite things. So that's your blue container. And then the last one is your orange container. This is like sunflower seeds, pine nuts, peanuts, salad dressings fit inside this container. That's all what goes in here. This one you fill all the way to the top. Oh, I did want to mention with the blue container, like almonds, you have to make sure with these ones for the nuts, you don't just fill this container. This one is one of the ones that has the most, like you have to count them out. So for example, I like to have almonds during the day, and that is only 12 almonds. Now I could fit a lot more than 12 almonds in here, but I only get 12 a day. So I could do, 12 almonds 6 almonds and half a cheese for dinner. And then with your orange container, this one you just fill all the way to the top. And there's lots of 21 Day Fix approved dressings, salad dressings that you can make from scratch. And those are all in the Fixate cookbook. So if you have questions about that, you can ask me. And then there's also teaspoons. So you can have a certain amount of teaspoons a day, meaning like oils. So if you're cooking with oil at dinner time, butter, mayonnaise, nut butter, so like peanut butter, things like that. Those are your teaspoons. So you want to measure those out in teaspoons. I believe I'm like 2 or 3 a day. I can't remember. So that's how many teaspoons. And then on your approved list, there's a box right here that is your free foods. So anything you can eat that does not count towards. So for example, like mustard, vinegars, those don't count towards containers, which is amazing. Some spices like garlic, ginger, you can add that to your meals without having it count as a container, which is super awesome. Okay, so, also with this food list, the order on here is very important. So the foods at the top, like the first few foods in each category, are actually the best foods that you can have. They're the most nutrient dense. So the higher you stay on the list, if you're eating up here, the better that food is going to be for you. And I think the better the results you're gonna get, and that's what I've noticed with myself. I did last month start to stray towards the bottom of the list, and I started eating things down here, and I noticed my results weren't as good. So this month I'm really focusing on keeping myself up at the top of the list, but for starting, try to pick a few things at the top and a few things at the bottom each day, so that you're not just eating at one section, because the top ones are the better and they have way more nutrients in there for you. But everything on here is approved. It is all good for you. It is all clean, so you can choose anything on this list. Let's see what else I have. So the actual meal prepping and how that works is your meal plans will be due every Friday. So I'm gonna post something on Friday, this Friday, and it's going to say, show me your meal plan. You have to turn it in. So you're gonna take a picture of your meal plan, or just type out what your meal plan is going to be for the following week. That's holding you accountable to make sure you've gotten that done. And then I like to get mine done by Thursday at the latest. That way I have time to make adjustments. If something comes up on the weekend, I can make adjustments to that. But for sure, Friday by the latest, that's when I'm going to be asking for your meal plans. And then I like to do my shopping on the weekends. So you know, I have all of Sunday to get my grocery shopping done. I've actually started ordering my groceries from Walmart. I'm not sure if any of you have done that before, or order from another grocery store. It is absolutely life-saving. It takes me 10 minutes to go pick up my groceries and come back home and start meal prepping. It saves me so much time. I highly recommend it. So I order my groceries on like Friday night, like after my meal plan is done. I go through and I just say, you know, what do I need for this dinner? What do I need for this dinner? I put them all in online, place my order through Walmart, and then go and pick them up on either Saturday or Sunday morning. And then Sunday is my prep day. So every Sunday I spend probably 1 to 2 hours a day on Sundays meal prepping. So making anything for the week that I need to. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But for your meal plans, for actually making them, I've shared in the group this blank meal plan. This is the one I use all the time. This is my absolute favorite meal planner. It just makes sense for me for my weeks to be going this way and having breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner going down, and then my days of the week going sideways. Now for some of you, it might be opposite. You might want your days of the week going up and down, and then your meals going down. So there are a couple different options. If you want me to share any of them with you, I absolutely can. There's one here as well that has, this one is the days of the week going across. So you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you have your breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner, and then another snack if you want to fill that one in. And then up at the top, this is for my calorie bracket, but I have some for the other calorie brackets if you want me to share that out with you. And then here, it just makes sure that you have all of the containers you need. So it says GGG for the 3 greens that I'm able to have a day. So when I'm filling in my meal plan, I need to make sure that I write down my veggies I need to write down my veggies exactly 3 times that day. And then same thing with the red, the yellow, the purple. But yeah, this is the meal plan that I absolutely love. It just makes my brain happy. So, here's an example of my meal plan for this week. So I just write the date next to it so I know like what day of the month we were on. And I like to put mine in color. This one printed a little funky in some weird colors, but I like to use color on mine. I've also used just pencil. Like this one was just all in pencil because I didn't have my fancy colored pens with me. But for me, for my brain, I like to have everything color coded. So my protein is all in red, my veggies are all in green, my fruit is all in purple. And then I put like little dots next to them to show like if, for example, my sneaky pancakes I'm gonna have this morning are a red, a green, a purple, and a teaspoon. So I like to put those colors underneath just so my brain can see, and I can go back and count like there's 1 red, 2 reds, 3 reds, and 4 reds for my day, so I can make sure I've gotten my 4 protein containers in. So that's how I meal plan, or how I write it all out. But so meal planning for everybody is gonna be different. I like to start with dinner because dinner is my absolute favorite time of day. I love eating dinner. That is my favorite meal. So I always plan that first. So when I'm starting my meal plan, I start in my dinner column and I pick all my meals for dinner. So I sit down and I go through Pinterest. I go through recipes that other challengers have shared in the group. I go through a few other websites of other challengers that I know that share their recipes on blogs. And I go through and I pick the recipes that I want to have for the week. So I cook dinner every night. That might not be the same for all of you. Some of you, it may be easier to like prep one meal, like a casserole, on Sunday and then just eat off that for the rest of the week. Totally fine. You have to figure out what works for your schedule. For me, I like to cook dinner every night for my husband and I. And so I plan my dinners first. Now, maybe you're a breakfast person, you're home in the morning, you don't work till later, so you want to cook a nice breakfast for yourself. What I found for me is that I like to have 1 carb at lunch and 1 carb at dinner. And it works really nice because I have my leftovers from dinner, I have those for lunch the next day. So anytime I write a dinner for Monday, in the lunch box for Tuesday, I put down exactly what I had for dinner the night before, and I always make sure to cook extra so that I have leftovers for lunch the next day. And then it's the same color combination. So if I have a carb at dinner, it's that same carb at lunch. And I find that if I don't have a carb at lunch or dinner, then I'm super hungry and I feel like I'm starving and I want to eat more and I'm way more tempted by other foods. So that just works personally for me. Some of you, that may be for breakfast. If you don't have a carb in the morning for breakfast, then you are starving for the rest of the day. So you'll have to figure that out and how things work for you. I also like to have my Shakeology in the morning for breakfast. So my red container, I fill that in for my breakfast. So every day I'm having my Shakeology for breakfast. That just works well for me because I'm out the door super early in the morning and it's just quick and easy to be on the go. I always have hard-boiled eggs prepped on Sunday. I always prep any veggies or fruit that I'm gonna take. I put them in like little plastic baggies. I portion them out in my containers on the weekend, on like Sunday on my prep day. I just count up like, okay, I need 1, 2 servings of broccoli. So I'm gonna get 2 little plastic baggies out with broccoli in them. And then I have, for example, for this week, 3 little baggies of almonds. So I would take my I would count out the almonds and I would separate those into baggies. So that way in the morning, like let's say tomorrow morning, Wednesday, I'm heading to work, I just go through my list and I say, okay, Wednesday, I need to grab 2 egg muffins. I need to grab my lunch that I packed the night before, my broccoli, grapes, almonds, peanuts, and then I need to make sure that I take out chicken for my chicken tortilla soup. I need to make sure I take that out of the freezer. So it's super helpful. I check mine every single morning so I know what to grab out of the fridge, and prepping everything on Sunday really helps. I have one more thing for you guys. I'm really sorry. This is such a long video, but it is so important, this step in this process. So you need to make sure you plan your weekends. Make sure you plan your weekends. I can't stress that enough. That is the most important thing. I've seen so many people plan Monday through Friday or Monday through Thursday because they're going out or they are just like, oh, well, I don't really know what I'm doing this weekend, so I'll just wing it. Well, the problem is you don't just wing it. You eat whatever you see. So I know that's how I am. So make sure that you plan your weekends. Write down if you're going to a party. Like this week, I'm going to, like it's Easter this weekend, so I'm going to an Easter party. So I wrote down Easter. So I planned my breakfast, my snack one, and then my lunch from my leftovers, and then I know I'm gonna be gone after that point. So I just put my remaining containers down so I know when I'm at that party, I can have 1.5 veggies, 2 fruit, 1 carb, 1 blue container, and 1 orange container. So that's limiting myself to eating so I don't eat everything in sight. But I've planned my weekend, I know I'm gonna be gone, and I know what containers that I'm able to fill while I'm at that party. So make sure you're planning your weekends. Don't expect this first week to be absolutely perfect. You're gonna find some things that you're like, oh my gosh, I don't have time to cook these meals, or I'm trying to cook every single night and that just doesn't work for my schedule. That's fine. You're gonna take what you've learned from week 1 and you're gonna change it for week 2. You're gonna take what you've learned from week 2 and you're gonna make changes for week 3. So it does take time to get the hang of this meal prepping. At first, I had to reference my sheet every single day when I was meal prepping to know, like, okay, wait, how many carbs do I get? What is the green container again? So once you get the hang of it, once you're a couple weeks in, it's gonna be super easy to meal plan and to prep. You're gonna really get the hang of it. So don't make it too hard for you for your first week. Just try to pick maybe 1 or 2 new recipes, or try to find like a casserole that you can bake ahead of time, and maybe that's your lunches for the whole week, or maybe that's your dinners for the whole week. If you have a recipe that you already cook and you want to know how to make it healthier or what you can substitute to make it clean, or you found a recipe that you're really interested in trying but it doesn't have the container count on there, please share it in the group. Go ahead and post it, tag me in it, send me a message with that, and I will help you get the container count ready for it, so that way you know like what you can plan for. Like that's 1 protein, 1 blue, and 1 green. So if you're not sure of the container count, please just post it in the group, message me if you need to. Just ask questions. The best thing you can do for yourself is just ask questions. Don't ever feel like you're asking way too many questions, because you want to be as prepared as possible. Trust me, that was me. I asked a million questions. I felt like I was that annoying person, but you know what? I learned from those questions, and so it's really important that you get those questions answered. So thanks so much for staying and watching this really long video. I hope that you guys have learned a lot, and again, if you have questions, please just reach out. I'm really excited for this next month ahead, you guys.